Stavros Tousios for M4Markets. They're going to have a look at the DXY for a broader look or sort of to capture more sort of pairs and where they could be heading going forwards, as well as what's happening with oil. It's back at 70. So DXY first, guys. We've got a divergence over here, very evident, of course, as you can see, and a move to the downside. Now the question is whether this move is going to continue or not. On the RSI, we have reached oversold levels, and that could be a signal for potentially, seeing one more leg to the downside, creating another divergence signal over here in the short term, okay, and then start moving up again for a potential reversal or a correction that is going to continue, of course, lower towards the 100. If we go down on the 1 hour, and this is where things get a little bit more interesting because they reveal more information, what we do see is we see this price action kind of, there is two cases here, guys. They resemble either a triangle, okay, which means we're going to get one more leg to the downside before anything else happens, and then we'll go up either for, further downside or correction to the upside. Or the other thing that we could see happening is that this is forming somewhat of a diagonal, which would then imply again that we might still see one more leg to the downside, but barely below the previous low, and start moving up again for either a correction or a pullback. So we do see the divergence here quite more evident on the RSI, that we have not yet crossed above the 50, and this is what keeps us so far a little bit biased to the downside. Okay, so short-term downside, then upside. From there we'll look where we could be heading next. So what we're going to do about this, if we assume the low is in now, obviously you're going to have to move that and adjust it based on new price data. We'll look for 23.38 and 50. Losing the 50 typically is where sentiment changes, and that, according to the current data and the low that we have in, would bring us closer to the 50%, which is kind of clustered up with the channel here coming from the top. So that suggests, guys, that if we do go lower and then higher, euro dollar, pound dollar mainly, also going to do one more leg to the upside and then start either correcting or they're going to reverse. So be prepared for, for the DXY to show you the next signals. When we look at the prices of oil, we talked about the break of this channel, and we have actually come down nearly to the previous bottom around 70. Okay, we didn't get there yet, but it looks like it wants to get there. Now it's not rare to see that price is moving up from here. However, I don't really see any signals. I mean, we recently, with the last leg to the downside, we invalidated any sort of bullish hidden divergence signal because we have come all the way down to that low, okay, and prices are lower. So the next level down is really here, and if we do lose that, then that opens the door, guys, to fresh lows closer to, I would say, probably down to around 66, okay. And let's not forget the trend is to the downside here, okay. Even if we use this sort of channel, look at this, we've just actually lost the bottom of this base channel, and that, okay, typically indicates that we're going to see an acceleration to the downtrend. We didn't see it here or here, and here has been actually the only period of time where it was under sort of acceleration, some sort of acceleration for a long period of time. Now, this is 1 and 2, and let's say 3, 4, and the fourth time was here. Now that's the fifth. Fifth times typically work. If not, it's going to be the sixth, if you know what I mean. So we could see something like this happening. There is more likelihood for further downside here in the short term. And for this, we've got some sort of move to the downside that we need to take into account when we are measuring potential projection levels. And look, the 100 was done. So if we don't see a move back within this channel, or I would say above the 73.67, then there is further pressure to the downside, potentially to around 67.50. But if we go straight there, guys, then that would suggest that we are probably going to get some sort of extended leg to the downside, which would then imply that another leg to the downside below that low might also come in.